How are we doing this morning? Good? Good? I cannot believe it's here. It's here. Your whole journey is ready to begin. And you started your coaching sessions this morning. How was that? Right? So you've had one-on-one time with your coaches, and then this morning we kicked off the summit. It's how we show up every day. What do we want people to be saying about us, right, years from now? So every day, how do we show up? How do we walk through those doors? And how do we make people understand that they're important in our lives? And so that's the opportunity here. Now there's 100 together, because today is Summit 1, and we are level setting. So that means that somebody else wants to be in your seat. There is, if you're in this seat, that means that I hope you protect that seat, and by protecting it, there's a shared responsibility. You are counting on us to bring to you the most advanced, top-notch leadership development experience in the country. That's what you're counting on us today. We're counting on you to bring your best version of yourself to the table every time we gather. Can somebody give me a drum roll? Okay, that's good. So 2 weeks ago, on the international stage, in front of 10 countries and all different states across the United States, gathered together in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Lead Tennessee won an award, an international award, 19th out of 250 programs in the world, innovation in deployment of leadership. So, and I brought the award to show you.
I want to talk today about someone who had tremendous self-leadership. Self-leadership is one of the hardest competencies to achieve. It's something you have to keep working on over and over. And it's the foundation, I think, one of the foundational pieces of being a leader. I want to talk today about my late husband, artist and writer Mike Schacht, who is the person who taught me the most about self-leadership. He never lost his authentic voice, and he believed in what the playwright August Wilson said in one of his plays, in the series of plays he did about the African American experience in America. You had a song, but you forgot to sing it. Mike believed that you should find your song, should make it yours, and never forget to sing it. I challenge you to make the most of Lead, and thank you for letting me share this today.
So, without looking at your notes, without looking up, the 4 core dimensions of AQ. What's C? What's O? What's R? What's E? One more time. What's C? What's O? What's R? What's E? Geniuses, every one of you. That's what I want you to remember. When something happens, I want you to think in terms of C, O, R, and E. That's how we begin to shift to having a higher AQ response. So again, stolen directly from the I Ching, the response is everything. The way in which we respond to the adversity and the challenges and the things that happen to us directly impact our ability to succeed, our ability to focus on and take on the things that we say are important to us.
As I shared, I developed a lot of relationships along the way, along with that reputation for being customer focused. And what I love about HR is the challenge of balancing the needs of the employees against the needs of the organization. So you can't just always think about the employees, nor can you always just think about the state of Tennessee. You've got to find that win-win solution for both.
From that, I always start with this, our brand, Soundtrack of America, made in Tennessee, that we are the marketing agency for the state. And the reason that we have a brand is to distinguish ourselves from the other 49 states against which we compete. And when you are selling that, a brand is so much more than a logo. It's who you are and what you stand for. And a lot of people really promote music, but we want to own what we own. And Tennessee owns music. There's 7 genres of music that call Tennessee home. No other state can claim that. And so we want to own that. We started this campaign about 3.5 years ago. And since then, 4 other states have started music campaigns. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's because they see the success. The good news is a lot of the artists they are using in their campaigns actually now live in Tennessee, so it actually helps us.
She is the first Predator to score a Stanley Cup final at home. Now watch the pass across as Murray goes thinking maybe this is going to be a one-timer, but it's not quite in the wheelhouse, and that little delay, you can see Murray just...
But what do our fans yell when we score on the opposing goalie? Yeah, because you know what? He does suck. It is all his fault. But he said it bothers you, and it bothers your son. But you say it bothers you because you sold from Boston. A, that's not true. Well, wait, oh, no. Microphone. B, not everything revolves around Boston, thankfully. C, I've never heard that at a Bruins game in my 50 years of life, probably attending 2 Bruin games a year. But going back to the real root of your question, why do we tell the opposing goalie he sucks? When we introduce the lineup for the opposing team, why do we say sucks? The coach, you suck too, right? Because it's fun. You know, in the restroom a moment ago, I don't know where the gentleman is, he lets his 5-year-old son say sucks in one place on the planet, Bridgestone Arena. And it's one goal. Not our offensive scheme, as we were accused when we first said it 7 years ago. It's one goal, to be the #1 sports entertainment venue built around a Stanley Cup championship team. And when we put that up, people laughed. They said, where do you guys get off putting that up? And the main person that said it was one of our assistant coaches, a guy I love, Brent Peterson, one of the most popular guys in the NHL. He said, we've never gotten out of the first round. We're not even close to being the best building in the country. We're about the 30th busiest building in the country, and you just told the world how bad we are. You just showed the world of what we want to be, but we're not even close to being that yet. Hey, what's wrong with being fine? What's that? Exactly. Who's ever happy being fine? If your car's fine, you work to improve it. If your grades are fine, ideally you work to improve it. Hopefully my wife doesn't see it the same way, but fine is not good enough when you're in a competitive business.
I feel like David Letterman with these cards. No one's ever given me questions before. I'm just an impromptu guy. I can't pronounce all these words. How do you challenge your own perspectives? How do you make the time to continue to grow as an individual and a leader? And in similar fashion to what you just said, I'm pretty fortunate. I work for a fan base of a couple 100,000 people that by design we've engaged with. We want to hear from them. We want opinions. We want to know when we're doing something good, something bad, something stupid, when we should start doing something. But then we've taken that out of our fan base standpoint, and we've engaged with our 200 full-time employees, our 1,000 part-time employees, and we make them come up with what we should be doing, where should we go. But we don't allow people just to come up with ideas. We want them to engage with their idea and then activate it with us.
How do you stay focused as a leader and incorporate new tips or tools in your interaction with direct reports? Tagging on a little bit what Sean said, life will keep you focused if you pay attention to it. It'll keep you humble, just like the team's guests and fans coming in and telling them what they're doing right or wrong. Not everything we do works. We'd like to think so, and not everything we do to achieve some of those numbers I showed you are because of things we did. We have incredible partners. 2 years ago, sometimes timing just works out. We did a deal with Garth Brooks at a point in his career where he was achieving the award as the greatest selling artist of all time. I would love to say that we coordinated all of that. Sometimes things just happen. And I considered retirement after that because I figured, what else can you do? And then fast forward last year, the Preds made the Stanley Cup, and we had an eclipse. So, and I'm thinking, boy, isn't tourism just killing it, right? And we had nothing to do with any of that.
So this one is, how do you manage work and family? And I think this one's really, really important, and I kind of touched on it briefly in my remarks, but growing up as one of 14 children, I knew my parents, that was a struggle for them to really find the time to spend with each and every one of us. And so it was really key to me as I raised my child to be able to be there for her. I loved what I did for a living, but my first priority was always to my family. And I mentioned my husband, who, we put each other through school. And so Trish and I were talking about this yesterday. Both of us shared that we, when our kids were little, we didn't do as much outside of work hours. We weren't on boards back then. We weren't, doing things that took us away from family, because you don't get those years back.